in class. Oh. I never been down with no OPP. I talk about selling our people's property. Don't know who doing it, so don't round me out. Don't send no police round me and tell me shush my mouth. Where's our conviction? But where's our pride? We selling everything, selling our backside. Just go online, it'll make you sick. You can buy any island, just point and click. See, they're selling our country, yes, they're selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling the whole country, ooh, they're selling our hey, hey. Ride him. My mother always say, where you find it, donkey? Ride it. Who's donkey? What? Come on. Got a whole nation in 73. Now we getting back the whole country. What kind of fools we must be, selling out for a bag of rice and a cup of tea. You know what does bug me? Help me understand. I can't find piece of property for under 80 grand, but I can fix this. I know what to do. I can squat just like them other people try make me do. See, they're selling our country, yes, they're selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling the whole country, ooh, they're selling our. They're selling our country, they're selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling the whole country, ooh, they're selling our. Like everybody sells some every day. Giddy up, giddy up. Come on. Oh, no. Let's go. Who's the donkey again? They're selling one island, give away one key. What donkey left for you and me? It's just the example, what's our kids to do? You want them have a sense of pride, or go selling too. Cause they're selling our country, yes, they're selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling the whole country, ooh, they're selling our. They're selling our country, yes, they're selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling our whole country, ooh, they're selling our. They're selling our country, yes man. They're selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling our whole country, ooh, they're selling our. They're selling our country, yes, yes. They're selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling the whole country, ooh, they're selling our.
Whoa, girls, we out doing it.
We have identified a new asset class that we see taking shape over the next many years. We have identified we see taking shape over the next many years. As you know, ESG investments talk within that natural asset class, there will be sell allocations. In the Bahamas, while we want to sell carbon credits, we want to sell
Good afternoon, Bahamas, and welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. We're so sorry for the technical difficulties coming into this. We were trying to play a video for you, but I don't know why it seemed like it wasn't going through. First of all, I want to say congratulations to all of you who made it through to the new year. Thousands of Bahamians did not make it through 2023, but you did. And so I want to say congratulations to all of you. The reason you made it through to this new year is because there is something for you to do. You are not finished. God isn't finished with you, and you have not yet delivered to all of us in this community and to this planet what it is that was put into you to deliver to this earth. And so congratulations for making it here. It's a new year, it's a new start for you, and we look forward to what you can contribute to our country and our society. We've had a very exciting year last year. We've done so much last year. Just for us to go it um, in this short live. But we started out the year with a bang last year, and we were working all year fighting for the Bahamian people. And when I say fighting for, I mean fighting for the Bahamian people. And we will continue to fight for the Bahamian people. Nothing will, nothing will stop us from continuing to fight for us. Just in, the first 2 months of last year, and you can go back on my timeline, you can see a lot of the things that we did that was out there publicly, and which is probably just even 1% or less of what we actually did last year. But starting, excuse me, I have something that I haven't had for many, many years, and that's a cold. um, so please excuse me. I may sound like Maria Dawson through some of this, but I just wanna make it through. All right. So starting off in January last year, we stood up against Brave when he started his New Year speech to CARICOM, saying that the Bahamas was committing to solving the problems of Haiti. We stood up against him as he made those strange comments when we weren't looking after the issues of the Bahamas. We exposed the Haitian immigrants that broke into the homes on Village Road and were actually uh, uh, taking up residence in Village Road. Some of them were workers who worked in Village Road, and then they saw abandoned homes. They just took over homes in Village Road. Many of them are still occupying those homes in Village Road right now. On January 15th, we exposed the illegal Haitian immigrants that were, excuse me, occupying homes in Paradise Island, on Paradise Island. We exposed that on January 15th. The Minister of Immigration came out and confirmed that those persons were applying for their to be regularized. But we exposed that there were Haitians occupying villas on Paradise Island, making it a Haitian village. 2 days later, we held a major protest on Rawson Square, where thousands of Bahamians came out um, in support to stand up for our country. We continued to speak out in January for the staff at PMH. In January, we also began to expose that work permits were being sold like candy, and immigrants were being given visas and work permits, and even passports were being given out, and that immigrants with work permits were working for people that they were not permitted to work for other persons not named on their work permit. We started to expose this scandal. Um, we In January, we also housed the family that lost their home to a fire. Um, um, we housed them. Because they had lost everything. They had a four-bedroom home, they lost it, and we've been housing them, rent or anything. They have no expenses until this day. We've been housing them from last year, January, until now. Um, in January, we also this last year, the government insisted that there was no immigration problem. You remember that was headlines in the paper, and that there was no shantytown problem. All right. So then we began to visit shanty towns and expose the illegal flea markets and illegal shanty towns that were building up, across this country. Um, Throughout the year, we visited many islands, including exposing Eleuthera, uh, Harbor Island, Abaco, et cetera, et cetera. The MPs in Abaco also stood out against what was going on, and then the government started to pretend that they were going to do something. It came to a head when the international media caught on to it, and Fox News began reporting on the illegal invasion in the Bahamas. In February 1st, we held an immigration protest on Rawson Square, where again thousands of persons came out in support to show that we have had enough. We exposed that there was no injunction in February. We exposed that there was no injunction preventing government from arresting illegals or demolishing shanty towns. On February 6th, we met with Commissioner of Police to expose the illegal proliferation and criminal activities that was going on as relates to shanty towns. On February 7th, we went with police to a shanty town built on Nurse Justina Curry's land and issued eviction notices. On February 15th, we had a protest before CARICOM was scheduled to start, where we were subsequently, I was kidnapped and later brought before the courts without being charged formally by police, etc. I don't want to discuss that because it's before the courts, and we're also suing the government as it relates to that. Many Bahamians were also arrested and kidnapped, etc. Some were kidnapped and released, just taken in the police car, driven away somewhere else, and then just released out of the car. Ridiculous things happen that should not happen. As you can see, we're just on February, and that's just a portion of February. Every month, we worked hard and tirelessly for the Bahamian people. I encourage you to go back and look at all that we have done. Excuse me. Look at all that we have done as an organization to expose what was going on. We exposed many more things during the year. We exposed the scandal with the Chinese that were living in the hotel that Keith Bell had released after lying on the deputy prime minister. We exposed that Keith Bell had issued citizenship at a funeral. We fought them. We filed for commission of inquiries. We did so many things last year. And I want to thank all of you that made all of these things possible. We could not have done it without you. We could not have done it without you. We fought the good fight, and we will continue to stand up for this one country that we have. We're not standing down going into this year full force. We're starting out the year in Abaco. And so this week, Thursday, we're going to be in Abaco. And so that's on Thursday and Friday. We're going to be in Abaco. Excuse me, let me get the information for you. We're going to be in Abaco on Thursday and Friday. And so we're going to be in South Abaco and in North Abaco. The last time we came, we only went to North Abaco. Some of the people from South said it was too far. We're going to have a general meeting. We want to hear from you, and we want you to hear from us. We want to talk about the issues of Abaco, find out what's going on. Of course, we're not going to put any of you on camera. We're not going to put the audience in camera. I know some people are afraid. But on January 11th, we're going to be at Central Abaco, and that's at the Patrick J. Bethel High School. All right. Central Abaco, the Patrick J. Bethel High School at 6 p.m. All right. So that's January 11th at 6 p.m. Please join us there. And also on January 12th, we're going to be in North Abaco. That's the next day at Foxtown Primary School. And that's at 6 p.m. So on the 12th at 6 p.m., in North Abaco, Foxtown. Make sure you are there. Talk to all of your family and friends in Abaco and let them know exactly what is going on. Let them know that we will be there. Myself, Maria Daxon, Charlotte Green, the leadership, we're going to be down in Abaco to see what's going on, to see what your issues are, and to see how we can address those issues for you. So make sure be there to support us. We've spent the last several years traveling all of the islands to make sure that we continue to fight for you and your issues and whatever is going on with you. So just wanted to get that out of the way. We got a couple of things to cover in this live today. A couple of things that we want to cover. So y'all need to go to the other family islands. Yes, we're gonna go to all of the family islands. All right, we're gonna hit all of the family islands. In order to make this possible, you know what have to happen. These trips are not free. It's expensive to do what we're doing, but we are competing with all of the old evil political parties. And we are traveling more than them. But when we travel, we are traveling to fight for the people, to address their issues, to expose what's going on, so that we can bring change in the community. And so make sure that you support the cause. You can do it in a couple of different ways. The QR code is on the screen right now. Excuse me. You can scan that code or click on the link that just showed up, or click on this link that showed up, and you would be able to assist us in this fight. This is not an easy fight. A lot of people say you got to keep on going, be encouraged, but you also have to help us to keep it going. Now, with that aside, those links will continue to be there. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I have a couple of things I wanted to address quickly. I'm going to talk fast and try not to go over an hour. Then I'm going to open the phone lines today. Crocodile has been waiting long. We're going to be there. All right, be patient. We'll be there soon. I just wanted to touch on the comments by Michael Pintard quickly. I wanted to touch on, please share this live while you're here. Tag some people here. Make sure they know what's going on. This is the biggest story in Bahamian history. All right? We need to know exactly what's going on. I want to touch on the speech quickly. I'm going to have to breeze over it and do it on my next live. But I have to I'll just touch on that speech by Brave Davis and the Freedom of Information Act thing. But the real reason for the Freedom of Information Act is because of what I'm about to reveal to you today. And of course, when I reveal with documents. I always encourage other persons who are doing this and who want people to support them. Don't just make statements or say we're going to release documents in 7 days. If the government does it in 8 days, we're going to release. Listen, release the documents. Let us know what's going on. Inform the people what's happening. This is transparency. And so we can know what's going on. This is the 21st century. This is the information age. And so I'm going to release the documents that's going to show all of you what's really going on in this country, particularly with our blue carbon, et cetera, et cetera. All right. So please stay with me. I see I've been having some technical difficulties, and there's some videos I wanted to show you that's going on. Whenever I have a problem with those videos, I'll just keep moving. But I wanted to start this out by, touching on this crime wave that we're having. We're having a serious crime wave. And one of the reasons is because we have a government in place that has no vision for crime. And when I heard that, when I heard before election, the Prime Minister say that the solution for crimes against women was to give each woman a whistle, I knew that we were going to be in problems. And I said this publicly, and people might have taken it as comical, but I was serious as a heart attack. When that process behavior fell for that, and we voted for that. And so how can you expect there to be a solution to crime if you either voted for or didn't vote, which is a vote for, Brave Davis to get in power, after he is saying that the solution to crimes, sexual crimes and crimes against women, was to give every woman a whistle. And even that he didn't do. And so you have to expect this crime wave that we're currently seeing. Before I get into that, I want to make a quick comments so you understand what's happening. They're making these statements that crime is down. Crime is not down, not by a long shot. Crime is not down, and we can stop saying that lie now. The reporting of crime is down. That is what is down. The reporting of crime. There are a lot of people who are disenfranchised and tired of calling the police because they feel they're going to get no results. They're tired of the system because they feel they're going to get no results in the courts or anywhere else. They're just disenfranchised. They're tired, man. All right? And so why should you call how many of you have called the police and you've been told that there was no cars available? How many of you? No cars available? How many of you have called, you had a break-in and you had to wait hours and hours and sometimes the next day before someone came to check, to investigate, and sometimes no one came? People feel like if they call and report certain crimes that there's going to be retribution against them. So many people have stopped reporting. A car get breaking in, they don't even call the police. Okay, the window, the side window break, the small window. They took my radio. I'll buy another radio and fix the glass. I don't have time for this. People are discouraged because they feel that there's no real solution to crime. Discouraged by the job that the police is doing. The police seems to be lost. The Minister of National Security seems to be lost. The Prime Minister, as relates to this, seems to be lost. And his big solution for crime is you got to take care of this yourself. This is his solution.
First of all, safety. You are safe because you will be engaging the tools that make yourself safe.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point.
That was literally his statement on crime and being safe. I don't understand what else we expect. We voted for that. And that's a problem. And so what do you expect? People have given up. Murders are not down, technically. They say they are. But technically, a lot of people are surviving shootings. There have been shootings in the last couple of days where persons didn't die, which means the murder count would have been much more. Last year, how many times did you hear there was a triple shooting, one person died? There was a double shooting, one person died. Or, so a lot of people were surviving being shot. And so the numbers would have been quite higher if those persons had not survived. And so we can't just look at the numbers and get an understanding from that, a complete understanding from that. All right? We have to do this thing sensibly. Murder is not really down. Okay? And crime is not really down. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. And so Christian Skippins spoke about our latest murder. Sad. A 16-year-old girl sitting in a house, and the house was shot up, and she died just charging her phone. Like some of you right now, just sitting in front of your phone, expecting to be safe in your home, expecting to be able to get up, go in the kitchen, get something to drink, and be able to come back and sit down in your living room or your bedroom, safe. She was just sitting in her house. Like you right now, imagine a bullet just coming through your wall. Bullets move so fast that by the time as you hear it, you were already hit because they travel faster than the speed of sound. So some people could get hit, and she was shot in the head. Most likely, she was just looking at her phone, and then she was dead. I want to give my deepest sympathies to the family. I'm sorry to have to. It's the unsafe country in which we live. You could be alive 1 minute and dead and not even know. It's Christian Skippins.
And so this incident, we received a call shortly before midnight. Information received is that the 16-year-old teen girl was inside her residence. She was reportedly charging her phone when some unknown person or persons fired gunshots into the home, which resulted in her being fatally shot. Of seen or heard something, you have seen someone here, to kindly reach out to the officers of the Criminal Investigations Department and provide that information so we can seek out those persons who's responsible.
Sad situation. We need to bring back capital punishment right away. We need to hang, electrocute, or give lethal injection to these killers. It's on our law books, and we are therefore a lawless state if we don't carry out the laws of this country. And so how can you want people to behave within the law if the government is lawless by finding every excuse to not execute murderers? That can't work. The Privy Council did not say that we cannot execute. It said that you must execute the worst of the worst. That's what they said. And so all we have to do is go into the House of Parliament and define in the law what the worst of the worst is. That's all they're asking you to do. And once you define what is the worst of the worst, the Privy Council can't make a judgment outside of it. Capiche? So in all of these other laws that you all are finding the time to pass, please go in the House of Assembly. This includes the opposition, because the opposition can present bills to the House of Assembly also. And let the government vote against it if they want to. Let the whole country see them vote against it. Michael Pintard, go into the House of Assembly and table a bill. If you want me to draft it, I can draft it. Table a bill that continues. If you are serious, we're tired of the talk from the opposition and the corruption of the government. We need real change and we need real action. And this is why they didn't want me in the House of Assembly, because I guarantee you one thing, I would have already drafted this particular bill in the House of Assembly. I would have already tabled that bill in the House of Assembly. I can guarantee you that. But they don't want to do anything about murder. And so there's a lot of crime solutions that I gave during something I put out there, so I won't go into it anymore. But what was curious to me was something that Michael Pintard put out there. And it was shocking when I heard it. The news came and asked me some questions, but they cut up everything I said. Of course, when I get interviewed by the news, they'll talk to me for 20 minutes and they'll put literally seconds of what I said on there and just twist it to what they want. That's what happened the last time I went on the news to talk about this particular issue. But I'll let you hear what Michael Pintard had to say, and I'll let you see why you should be shocked by this.
Pintard has this challenge for the Davis administration.
Call a conclave with the senior fellows who run this street, who lead these gangs, who members of parliament know, to find out what is the conflict. Are there irreconcilable differences? How do we get peace on the street? Have that conversation. For those who are unwilling to heed, let the full weight of the system deal with them. But don't carry on as if we don't know who is who. Because we do.
Jose.
I don't know if you heard what I just heard, but Michael Pintard just said, one, we must meet with the criminals, the members of gangs. Two, he said that the members of parliament know who they are, who the leaders of the gangs are. Okay. And he said, don't act like we don't know who is who. Here's the problem with that. And I always go to the law. And when I was in the news last time, I quoted the law to them, but of course, they didn't want this come out there. And so they didn't play it, of course. But as you know, I always go to the documents. And so I'm going to go to the law for you on this, just quickly, because I want to get to our carbon credits and our billions of dollars that the government, Jesus. Farmers, all I can say is we got to fight. You can sit there and let them steal our carbon credits. But anyway, let me go to Pintard. This is the penal code. All right. The penal code section 90A. It talks about gang membership. See, gang membership. We already have gang laws. They wanted a specific law on anti-gang law, but we don't need that. We already have gang laws. And so 90A, a person who is a member of an unlawful gang or participates or contributes to the activities of an unlawful gang where any and all of the members of the unlawful gang engage in or have within the preceding 2 years engaged in the commission of indictable offenses under this code, commits an offense and is liable to be convicted of a fine of $500,000 and imprisonment for 20 years. So for being, again, the PLP did this, the Prairie Christie did this law. All right? Being in a gang is an offense. So Pintard is focusing on the gangs committing murder, or the members of gangs committing murders. But that's not the point. Being in a gang is a criminal offense. So to meet with them is meeting with criminals. And you're aiding and abetting them. To say meet them so that they can learn to get along, you're helping the criminals. You're strengthening them. To meet them, to help them get organized better. Okay? And so they talk about the definition. They also talk about in 90B, participation in an organized crime group. So it's different from just a gang. Now, a person is a member of an organized crime group or participates in or contributes to the activities of an organized crime group if 3 or more persons were in any or all 3 members of the group engaged in or having engaged in the commission of an indictable offense under this code or offenses under the Dangerous Drugs Act. All right, commits an offense, liable, et cetera, et cetera. And also, the reason what Pintard's suggestion is criminal and nonsensical. This reminds me of Brave and his whistle thing when he wanted to be prime minister. But guess what? People are still going to vote for Pintard, knowing that he's lost. This talks about abetment, all right? Whoever, make this big for y'all, whoever directly or indirectly instigates, commands, counsels. So Pintard is saying, let's go there and counsel the criminals, all right? Procures, organizes, so let's bring them together. Directs, direct them to stop doing or doing whatever you want to do. It solicits on any manner, purposely aids, facilitates, encourages, or promotes, whether by his act or presence. See that there? Or otherwise, in any way. And every person who does any act for the purposes of aiding, facilitating, encouraging, and promoting the commission of an offense by other person, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All right, that's aiding and abetting. So if you get together with these fellas, you're committing a crime. What is Pintard talking about? What is he talking about? You should be getting, if you could gather these fellas together, the only thing you should be doing is putting them in the prison bus. Because that's like saying you have a bunch of pedophiles. You know who they are, but you should get together with these pedophiles to tell them to stop raping children. That's what you should do? Pintard, does that make sense to you seriously? Being in the gang is a crime. Not just what the gangs do. Not the armed robbery, not the drug dealing, not the murder. Being in the gang is a crime. So to meet with them, to tell them, behave and don't murder, you still missing the first crime. Being in the gang. And so you admitted that the government and the officials know. And Pintard, you know because you have a history with hanging out with these nefarious characters. Togi and Bogo, for example. Emperor from Fox Hill. Pintard was known to hang out with him. Now, they did some good deeds together. They helped people, especially the elderly, fix their bathrooms, et cetera, et cetera. But if you take money from a known a drug dealer, convict, et cetera, you have to make sure that that's not money from money laundering that you're being involved with. And so Pintard would say that because he is used to hanging with these fellas, but it is against the law. The F&M needs to get it together. And so it is unthinkable that the leader of Her Majesty's loyal opposition would suggest that we work with criminals. We don't negotiate with criminals. The only person, government official, that these criminals should be having a conversation with is a judge. And the only conversation a judge should have with them is, you plead guilty or not guilty. What is Pintard talking about? That is utter nonsense. We need real leadership in this country. But let's skip forward. I gotta leave that alone. All right. I wanna move on to get to the topic of today. I want to talk about, and I'm trying to speed through this. I want to talk about our carbon credits, our ocean, where the majority of our wealth is. Before the election, the government told everybody that Lincoln Bean is selling dreams, that this carbon credits thing, this blue credits and whatever else is nonsense. Don't listen to him. The government got $7 billion. And someone asked me, Stephen, can you ask me to show? And I said, I don't speak to things that I don't have evidence of. And you've noticed that the last 20 years that I've been speaking, and they've never been able to question one word that I have said. Not one. They've never been able to say that this right here that Lincoln said is false. Everything I say turns out to be the truth because I don't talk unless I know what I'm saying. If Lincoln Bean says that, you can take that to the bank. That is guaranteed, proven, right? And so a lot of what we have to do, we see that the government is against the Freedom of Information Act. And this is the reason they're against the Freedom of Information Act, all right? The reason they're against the Freedom of Information Act right now is because of this carbon credit thing and the billions of dollars that's involved. And these are the words of Fred.
Yeah. Fiscal something, Procurement Act, Freedom of Information Act. All of these things really have nothing to do with people's ordinary lives. Freedom of information, I don't think so. It's bureaucratic, expensive to execute. You're talking about a philosophical difference here between us and them.
He named all of the acts that would keep the government honest and said that we ain't doing this stuff. That's the philosophical difference between us and them. Accountability, freedom of information, procurement. We said we ain't down with that. And the Prime Minister came out and said, yeah, we breaking them laws. We can change them. We don't like them laws. And they don't want the Freedom of Information Act because right now they are basically raping this country blind. You would have seen a senior civil servant came out and told the courts how maritime contracts were signed maliciously. The government was doing a bunch of nonsense and crookedness. We've seen what was happening at immigration. We've seen a lot of things. I won't go through them now for time. But the biggest reason is because of the same thing that they keep telling the people Lincoln Bean selling dreams. Because they're saying one thing while they're here, and another thing away. Before, on my last live, before we ended last year, I showed you the words overseas of Anthony Ferguson. I tried to play the video at the beginning of this and it wouldn't play. But Anthony Ferguson talked about how they had already formed mutual funds with our blue carbon. They'd already formed mutual funds. We haven't seen this in the news, and the government has said nothing to us about this. So my question was, what do you mean we've already done this? There was no word, and the government didn't back talk me, and the troll just started just attacking me and attacking Marie and attacking whatever, just to distract from that conversation, instead of really addressing this. And the media and the Bahamian public gave them a lie. He gave that speech in 2002. All right, stick with me on this. He gave that speech in 2002. And I was trying to figure out, what is this man talking about? You already formed the mutual funds? Let me see if that'll play for you, because it's important before I show you what I'm going to show you. Because they're saying one thing in the Bahamas. I even got a secret tape of Brave Davis talking in Egypt that none of y'all saw. None of y'all heard, because I have the audio. Yes, I do. So I'll share this live. They say different things away than they say here. Let me see if this will play for you. I don't know why this isn't playing. I may have to play it on the TV behind me for you guys. But I want you to see this. Just give me 1 second. Let me try one more time. Let's see if this will work. As a Bahamian, every Bahamian needs to watch this. This is Anthony Ferguson.
We have identified a new asset class that we see taking shape over the next many years. As you know, ESG investments topped over $2 trillion last year. So we believe that
we're having a problem playing it. I don't know why. This is so important. I want to play this from my phone, and then I'm going to show you. This is what he is saying overseas. He's not saying this in the Bahamas. Then I'm going to show you exactly why. I'm going to show you documentation. Let's see.
Identify a new asset class that we see taking shape over the next many years. As you know, ESG investments topped over $2 trillion last year. So we believe that in the several years, you will have this new asset class called natural assets. Now, within that natural asset class, there will be sell allocations. In the Bahamas, while we want to sell carbon credits, we want to sell carbon certificates. Certificates include all of the additionalities that of biodiversity that we have. And so we see here, if I go from the top, liquidity is really driven by derivatives, so futures, options, warrants. That's one of our asset classes that we will be looking to monetize. We're going to use the verified carbon units as a potential opportunity. The most immediate opportunity for us in the Bahamas, given some of the statements by the IMF, is a sovereign debt swap for carbon assets. Of course, we would like to issue within the next 12 months a blue note or bond.
Listen to what he said. Don't let that go over you. Sovereign debt swap. And they want to issue blue bonds, right? Sovereign debt swap. Remember, the Bahamas was in trouble because it had to pay these hundreds of million, $900 million by a certain period, another 500 million by a certain period last year. Remember? But the government was calm. They wasn't really checking. And they were like, yeah, no worry about it. We're going to just restructure. But they never gave the details of what this restructuring was and what they did. Stay focused. Stay with me. Remember those words. Debt swap and blue mutual funds.
And also, we're going to have a very business plan. By the end of 2024, we would like to have the first listing of a natural asset company on the New York Stock Exchange. So that's very exciting for us, and we're looking forward to doing that. Also, we believe that within the next 24 to 36 months, you will see what we call natural asset ETFs. Today, you can have ETFs in currencies, in equities, fixed income, but we would like to be able to the first natural asset ETFs to come to the market. And of course, we have already launched a mutual fund, which we should probably go to market with by the 1st of December. And this will be an ESG fund that ESG mandates can invest in. Total ocean.
You heard what he just said. I'm going to repeat that for you. They've already done the mutual fund. But Bahamians let this go right over their heads. Let me go back a little bit more.
Also, we believe that within the next 24 to 36 months, you will see what we call natural asset ETFs. Today, you can have ETFs in currencies, in equities, fixed income, but we would like to be able to the first natural asset ETFs to come to the market. And of course, we have already launched a mutual fund, which we should probably go to market with by the 1st of December. And this will be an ESG fund that ESG mandates can invest in. Total ocean economy is probably worth about $30 trillion. $30 trillion. These are independent of our team suggesting this. So the point is, there are lots of opportunities for us here in the Bahamas. And what we've decided with the direction of the government set ourselves on 3 principles. One, biodiversity.
He is saying, and this was in 2022 that he made this speech, and he was saying by December 1st in 2022, they wanted to be able to do this thing. Did you hear anything about that in our news? Okay, let's go and look at the evidence. So what we did after I was asked that question by Steve McKinney, I decided to go and research. That's what I do before I talk. Because a lot of people depend on me and what I say, and they respect my opinion because I will not talk unless I know exactly what I'm saying. And when I say it, I prove it. And so I want to start this by saying that these guys have already arranged for billions of dollars to go into their coffers. They've already arranged. I'm going to show you where it's done. I know this may shock some of you because you believe that Philip Brave Davis is a good, decent, Christian young man. But based on what I'm seeing, he's not. I'm shocked and disappointed in my country for the ripoff that is taking place right now as we speak. Right now as we speak. I'm in utter disbelief. And so I'm going to show you some things right now. I'm skipping over that Life Key speech. I had a lot to show you with that, but I'll skip over that because I want to get straight to this. What he's talking about is some meetings and arrangements that took place, and I have the documents from it. Okay, I'm going to pull them up for you right now. He's talking about blue bonds. Let me pull this up for you. He's talking about blue bonds. Now, I'm going to show you this, but I'm going to take you and show you a video to help you to understand blue bonds and what's happening around the world right now. All right? The blue bonds, take you to this document. This is a document that deals with it. The Latin American Economic Outlook 2023 outlined what the Bahamas did in 2022. Everything is there. You can see I did a search and the word Bahamas came up 22 times in this document. And it's crazy that we can't get information about what our country is doing in the Bahamas, but we have to go outside of the country, just like I had to do during our documentary, to find out what our Bahamian officials are doing. And so this is a document. And so this is talking about mostly their focus on sustainability, which includes blue bonds and other stuff, but there's something shocking in here. All right? Blue bonds and other stuff. Now, there's some before I go deep into this. One, did you notice what their agenda was last year? And did you notice that a lot of the things that they put on their agenda wasn't actually on their agenda before election? Didn't you notice that they started saying that we're going to deal with the National Development Plan again? I'm going to show you why. Because of, did you see that they brought up all of a sudden this gender equality bill? All of a sudden, and just pushed it through the House of Assembly last year? Didn't even talk to the stakeholders. The stakeholders were saying, hey, wait, what is... Excuse me. I need you to bear with me tonight. The stakeholders were like, what is this? We don't know what this is. And they just pushed it through. And when the money had some stipulations, I'm going to show you. All right? So just hang with me tonight. The life and death of your country is at stake. So I know football coming on, all them fellas done rich. Our country is worth more than the whole NFL altogether. Every Bahamian could be more wealthy than every single player in the NFL. Now this sounds like this can't be true. It is. So let me watch a little video. Believe in what they relate to their bonds. You could get understanding. I want to teach you this properly. Let's watch a little video of Belize and what they did, and then I'm going to bring you back and show you what the Bahamas government did to us and why they're now focusing on certain things. I'm going to show you meetings and interviews and that kind of stuff. I'm going to show you everything. All right? Then I'm going to show you a secret audio that you haven't heard from Brave Davis in Egypt. Now, let me first teach you what are the blue bonds and what they did. So, blue bonds, you heard him talking about, and he said by December 1st, that was 2022, they already did it, worth billions of dollars. All right? It has stipulations, and they have to do certain things in order to clear it. That's why they pushed this gender bill down your throat. They now went and they're focusing on electricity. That speech that he did in Lyford Key has to do with the same thing. Where he's now talking about economic equality, et cetera, et cetera. It has to do, it ain't nothing to do with him. It is to do with the deal they made, and they're trying to clear this money. Step by step, let's do this. So if we want to go watch football, go. The rest of us who want to get what belong to us, stay. Let's go.
Blue bonds are being sold as a way to help struggling nations reduce their debt. It works like refinancing a mortgage, only instead of lowering your monthly payment and taking the extra money to redo your kitchen, you're spending it on conservation projects.
So I'll pause there. So it's like refinancing your mortgage, using the equity from it to do certain things. So remember, our country was in bad debt. They didn't know how they was going to pay it, but look, all of a sudden everything is okay. They're not talking about that anymore. Remember, it was like gloom and doom because they already sold us out. All right. So you get to take some of you get to cancel some of that, and you get to get extra money to do certain things with that has certain stipulations on it, but there's no watchdog to say what you should do. It's just a credibility thing. All right. If you don't do what you're supposed to do with it, then whatever. And it's insured. So if you even don't pay it back, it's insured. Watch this. Sorry about that. Press the wrong one.
The test case for the concept is the small Central American country of Belize, which has become a flashpoint for discussion involving hundreds of millions of dollars, including plenty of American money. Where's that money going? And can it really help?
Once we get to the reef, you'll see it, but it extends almost the length of the country, about 190 miles, or give or take.
Australia's Great Barrier Reef gets all the attention, but Belizeans call their barrier reef the largest living reef in the world, inhabited by 500 species of fish and 350 species of sharks.
You can see the manatees right there where you see all the trails. You see the light gray?
Oh yeah, I do see the manatees. The colors are just incredible.
And when the sun hits it on this angle.
Wow. Gustavo Garron of Astrum Helicopters showed us the famous Great Blue Hole, 1,000-foot wide and 400-foot deep sinkhole, which began forming during the Ice Age.
It looks like it's right?
Belize is a nation overflowing with this kind of beauty, and also constantly beset by debt, a country that doesn't pay its bills. Belize is also now a test lab for blue bonds.
A blue bond is essentially a way of putting value on, in this case, our oceans.
Julie Robinson is with the Nature Conservancy.
In the case of Belize, what we were able to do was to restructure old debt that we had, or bonds that we had, into new bonds, into these blue bonds that are more sustainable and that also provide greater benefits back to the country.
Blue bonds let Belize shave 45% off their debt by, among other things, promising to leave the barrier reef intact and to protect 30% of all.
I don't want you to miss that. They shave 45% of their debt is gone. So like our debt is $12 billion. Imagine 45% or almost $6 billion wiped out just by selling this bond in your blue bond. Imagine that.
All ocean water by 2026.
And you have a spot marked?
It would also potentially allow projects like this to grow.
How is the shark population in Belize now?
So that's what we're in the middle of really getting a hard and fast answer on. Start time was 8:10.
Jessica Quinlan is a PhD student and part of a team that's been monitoring shark health here for over 20 years. That includes tagging sharks with radio and satellite transmitters. As apex predators, sharks are critical for maintaining balance in the ocean.
Right now, it just seems like you don't have enough information.
We don't. So preliminarily, what we're seeing is that some species are being caught at sustainable levels, and the fishing pressure they're experiencing isn't something they can handle. But the larger body sharks that typically take longer to grow, mature, experiencing a pressure that we suspect not be sustainable.
The Belizean preserving the, but also to serve a more immediate need. Christopher Coy is with Belize's Ministry of Finance.
Some of this money isn't going necessarily towards big ideas, but it's like gas for police to enforce fishing laws, which you can't do right now, correct?
Yes, there's a capacity issue, so we need to build capacity for enforcement for those things that you mentioned.
But here's where it gets complicated. The deal between Belize and Nature Conservancy uses funds insured by a U.S. government known as the Finance Corporation.
Belize is not responsible for it. The U.S. is. Why should American taxpayers accept that risk?
Well, I think this is really the positives in this blue bond transaction is the relationship that it established with the U.S.'s Development Finance Corporation. I think that in general, you can get into the legals of it, but ultimately Belize is responsible.
If Belize couldn't pay its debts before, why do you think it can pay them now, even though it's less?
The main difference now and what will allow for Belize to pay back its debt is that they're much better terms. So the payments are lower, they're extended over a longer period of time. So it just puts Belize in a much better place.
One analysis said that of the more than $350 million, only $24 million goes to conservation. Is that acceptable for you?
So I think that there's been some misinformation. It was $23.5 million that the government placed in an endowment that's going to grow over 20 years and be above 90 million. But in addition to that, the government is making payments $2 million per year.
Have criticized Blue Bond, saying that and rack up huge fees. They also fear outside investors will merely claim to be helping the environment just for PR purposes, a practice often called greenwashing.
I stopped it for the sake of time, but that's generally what the blue bonds are. That it appears our government has gone into. I'm going to show you documentation. Just give me a sec. I want to put this to you thoroughly, so just stay with me. And this is why they don't want the Freedom of Information Act. And so this was another meeting that took place where the questions was asked about what's going on in the Caribbean with the Latin America and the Caribbean as it relates to these blue bonds, etc. So there's a little more information here. So listen again. Stay with me.
And so I'd like to start off with you, Andrew, and learn a little bit more about the TNC's blue bonds for ocean conservation and your strategy, and specifically talking about the case study of Belize. I think it's an incredible example to latch onto. And if you can talk a little bit more about the outline of the strategy and the core components of that deal, what makes it unique?
Sure. So first, let me just say, this is the second generation of debt conversions, or what used to be called debt for nature swaps or debt for climate swaps. So because the first generation came out of the Tropical Forest Conservation Act. Those were small transactions in the $10, $20 million range that had large transaction costs, but did result in funding for tropical forest conservation. But that was mainly with official debt, right? It was U.S. debt being forgiven and transformed into local currency to support conservation activities. What we, in partnership with DFC, did in Belize is a whole other scale. So we helped restructure $550 million worth of outstanding debt. It was their entire commercial debt liability. Bought it back at a 40% discount where it was trading and refinanced that with $350 million worth of new debt issued by the government, financed by Credit Suisse.
So it looks like it's freezing again.
At a 6% interest rate. You may have heard Solomon Hart this morning talking about the cost of capital for developing countries to do a renewable energy project is 20%. We managed to get it down. They were basically at default level. Because of the support from DFC, we were able to structure a transaction to buy back the old debt, issue new debt at 6% interest rates. That reduced their external debt burden by about 12%, reduced their debt to GDP ratio from 112% to about 100%. That still doesn't move them to debt sustainability in the IMF sense, but it improved their balance sheet, lifted their credit rating, and reduced their future cost of capital as well. The savings over 20 years now $180 million investments in coastal resilience. So a win because you're reducing their debt burden, you're issuing new debt at a much lower rate that's improving their balance sheet and their credit rating, and you're generating funding for conservation. For those the beaches with reef absorbing energy the country. The secret sauce of all of this, though, as I said, was getting them from default, where they could not access private capital markets, to a AA2 rating, which allowed them to access capital markets at a decent interest rate. And the magic that made that happen was because of the political risk insurance provided by DFC.
Yeah.
So again,
really,
he talks about default. He talks about default and the kind of situation where the Bahamas almost defaulted, but we were able to escape from that. All right. Freezing. If ever we have these lives where we're exposing the government, they're always going to attack the live through Facebook. And so I'm actually also forming a WhatsApp channel. You know, they have WhatsApp channels now. So before the show is over, or right when the show is over, I'm going to form a WhatsApp channel where I'm going to start putting information and links to what's really going on, because we have to fight. We have to fight what the media is doing and intentionally covering up and twisting information, and they're trying to conceal certain things. So I'm forming a WhatsApp channel. It's going to be called Lincoln Bain. And so you can just search, go on WhatsApp and search for channels. You know, they have the regular chat and the status, and then they have the calls. Right on the status, you will see channels, and you can follow CNN, whatever. But you'll be able to follow Lincoln Bain, all right? And so I'm setting it up right now as we speak. I'm setting up the channel, so you will be able to follow me. So before this is over, I'll remind you again, and you can go there. So it's not like a group where everyone is just talking and all this kind of stuff. It's just posts, articles, and stuff, so that we can educate the Bahamian people. So the documentaries some of you have not watched, we're going to put them there, links to them, so you can go and watch them and get the real information of what's going on. So again, he's talking about the same thing. I'm gonna detour there right now. There's some other meetings and stuff. I'm not gonna show you them right now. We get back to that. But I wanted to show you. You may say that, oh, they haven't discussed this in the Bahamas, but let me show you the trick they're playing on you. And it's a trick they're playing with the international community, because there must be transparency. During Anthony Ferguson's speech, you heard him say that there must be transparency, but they're not being transparent. They won't give us a Freedom of Information Act, and they won't tell us what they're doing. So even though he talked about transparency when he was talking to the international community, At home, we have no idea that they are trying to steal our carbon credits and our blue market. And so what they do is they will put it in Auntie Ferguson's paper, which is The Guardian. They put a little story there in the business section because they know you won't notice it. And so they can show the international community, see, we're transparent. This is in the papers. So our people know exactly what we're doing. And so if this comes up a year from now, they can say, yeah, this was in the paper. See, it's right here. But no one saw it. You see? Let me show you what they did. None of you saw this. This brushed over all of your heads. And this is why we have to continue to be the champions for the people. All right? Before we go back to the document, this document is where all the evidence is. But I'm going to start here for the sake of time. But now I've already opened the phone lines, but I wanted to see this information first. All right? This was in the paper. Let me see the date. Where's the date? Guardian. This was in the Guardian. All right? This is in the Guardian. January 5th, 2024. This 2 days ago. It was updated, so they made some changes to this. How often you see that? January 5th, 2024, this was in the newspaper. All right? And then they went and changed something in there too. All right? Sorry about this little basketball ad in there. That's their ad. So this is in the paper, and they also edited it. So they changed something there, like, hold on, don't let them see that. Change that right there. And so let me go ahead and show you this. So this is showing you the Bahamas Blue Bonds lead sustainable issuances. And so based on what they're saying, we had the most issuances in sustainable bonds. It was really green bonds, because blue bonds is a type of green bond. So it's green because it's the eco kind of bond. But they add it as a subclass because it's the green that deals with just the ocean, so not the land and other stuff. All right. So a green bond, a blue bond is a kind of green bond. Okay. So, and we led. But who do we lead in? Let's read, Bahamas. Y'all stick with me. I know you've been waiting on this. In 2022, Latin America and the Caribbean issued $20.1 billion in international GSS green, which means green, social, sustainability, and sustainability-linked bonds. And I want you to see this right here. Why they stick that with green bonds? What have to do with being green? Because they patch something together with your green bonds. And that's social. You know what's social? Gender equality. I'm going to show you that. And so they stuck this thing. They keep sticking this thing on us. So if you want money from the green bonds, hey, see the social thing too? Hold on that too while you're at it. So green, social, sustainability, and sustainability-linked bonds. That's what the GSS bonds are. That's the bonds that Anthony was talking about. All right? And so that's how much money was issued in bonds. So bond means the country gives bonds. So it's almost like, let me see the best way I could break this down and explain this for you. So a bond is like a loan from another government, the agency, the World Bank, the IMF, America, Credit Suisse, whoever wants to give the money. They're given you, the government is giving out a bond, which they're bonded by. They sell the bond, and then they pay back on certain terms. All right, so it's still like a loan. So they're selling these and taking the cash, using the cash to pay back later on whatever the terms are. Now, these bonds have stipulations because they're special bonds. These bonds can cause your debt to be canceled out. So they may say, okay, but we have $900 million in debt owed. We need that canceled out. Okay, we'll give you a bond for that, and then we'll give you some more for whatever else you need to do. And so that's what Belize did. Theirs was 300 something and 500 something million dollars. It canceled out all of their commercial debt. And so here, let's keep reading. The Latin America and the Caribbean issued 20.1 billion international GSS bonds. Now remember, they said the Bahamas led sustainable issuances. That means we gave out the most. We got the most money from this. Oh, let's keep going. With the Bahamas blue bonds accounting for total, meaning all of the sustainable bonds for the period. So they gave out 20.1 billion with all of the sustainable bonds coming from the Bahamas. What? So billions of dollars earmarked for the Bahamas was given to the Bahamas? Why didn't we hear about this? This from 2022 now. This just going in the paper 2 days ago. Let's keep reading, Bahamas. Y'all, I hope you all focus. So, the United Nations Economic Commission for Latin America and the Caribbean, that's a document what I'm reading to you guys. In a recently released economic outlook report, focused on investing in sustainable development, noting that those two blue bonds made up the lion's share of the sustainable issuances by sovereigns in the past 4 years. All right? The two blue bonds in Bahamas, they made up the lion's share for the past 4 years. But for 2022, they was all of the sustainable issuances. You hear that? It's not my words. I want you to see their words. All right? In the LAC region, that's Latin American Caribbean, even with tight financial markets, GSS bonds continue to be an attractive financing mechanism, representing 32% of total international LAC bond issuances. The region issued $20.1 billion of international GSS bonds in 2022. And that was down from 56% from 2021, but still the second highest year recorded. Between 2014 and 2022, GSS total bond market reached a cumulative value of close to $100 billion. This the market they said was lying about. That ain't true. Of which green bond issuance alone accounted for 33, so a third of that, followed by bonds linked to sustainability criteria. All right. GSS refers to green, social, sustainability, and sustainability-linked bonds. Total sustainability bonds for 2022 include 2 blue bonds issued by the Bahamas. You see it? But notice what they don't do. They don't say how much in this news report. How much? What's the value? Who got the bonds? What's really going on here? I want you to go to Guardian and read this whole thing for yourself, because I want to skip through. All right, we were the 7. There were 8 persons that did bonds, and we were the 7th of them to get the bond. So from there, I want to go back to the document. All right. And so that this is extremely interesting market. All right, this is extremely interesting document. So I searched the Bahamas to see how much time the Bahamas would show up in this document. So I just click through to let you see how much time the Bahamas actually entered. So it's talking about the Bahamas all through there. They're showing all the numbers. I'm going to put this in my WhatsApp channel so you could have easy access to it. Here they're talking about international GSS bonds. All right. In Latin Caribbean by type. Ooh, see how this shot up all of a sudden? Just shot up. It just started in 2014. All right. So it just started in 2014. All right. So the channel is up. I don't have any information on it yet. You can search your WhatsApp channels for Lincoln Bain, and you're gonna start seeing these stuff pop up. All right. These information. And so they have a lot of information here. You see how fast I go to this. All right. So what I want to do is let me go straight to the page that gives you the information. I don't want to waste any more time with this. Let me go straight to the page. And that's page 193. I wanted to show you in here where it talks about the gender stuff and the National Development Plan and all that kind of stuff. All of that stuff, you know what, I could probably, as I go through, just show you that. But there's a lot of stuff in here. You know, there's criteria when you do these things. You know, they don't ever tell us about these criteria and that kind of stuff, you know. But there's a lot of information. They search everything about the country. They have information that we don't have. They're showing you everything the countries are involved in, all the investments they're involved in. Here's the Bahamas. Only one thing we doing. So of all these things here, climate and energy, digital, education, health, transport, the only thing we doing, see, all about Barbados and doing several things. All these countries doing several things. Look at little Bahamas. Doing one thing. This is us here. And that's, we're doing climate and energy. That's the only thing we're focusing on. Nothing for digital, nothing for education, nothing for health, nothing for transport. All right, nothing. So that's us. Let me just keep going. I want to skip to it. Let me 1 sec. Let me just skip straight to it. All right, page 40 is National Development Plan. I keep skipping over it. I'm sorry. I'm going to get to it right now. But anyway, there's some things that they have to do. I'm going to send the document. You can go through it. I'm trying for time to speed through. National Development Plan, and stuff with this kind of stuff. But I'm going to skip straight through to page 193, which deals with the meat, what we came here for. All right, this is GSS, sovereign bonds. All right, let's go there. All right, so the GSS sovereign bond. So this is what they were talking about in that newspaper article. And so here it is. Now, this is 2002. And you see, it's 20, there's a 2 here. So that's, 20 here. So that's $20 billion. So this billion's over here. And so that's for 2002. It was more than that before. But the total is 100 billion, as you can see in the corner over here. But last year was 2002. But guess what? The sustainability part of this, see, sustainable bonds. They said all of the sustainable bonds was the Bahamas. 2 bonds that the Bahamas did. See here? GSS refers to green, social, sustainability, sustainability-linked bond. Total sustainable bonds for 2022 include 2 blue bonds issued by the Bahamas. So this is the Bahamas right here. All right, this is the Bahamas. It's orange. That's the Bahamas. All right, according to the Guardian report. That's the Bahamas. But it's hard to see. So the total is 20 billion, but this seems like the majority, just like the Guardian was saying, this orange section seems like the majority. So how do you find out what it is? What you do is you click on this here to get more information, stat link, because that's where the actual information is. So when you click on that, it's going to pull up the download. All right. And let me, hold on. Let me just click on it just so you could see. I already downloaded it. It's actually right here, but I want you to see that. This ain't no document and makeup. That's why it says 1 here in the brackets, because I already have it. So I just wanted you to see that I already have it opened up. So let me just go to it. Now look, this is a document. So see the same document where the orange right there, that's the sustainability. So that's the Bahamas. But hold on. So they have the details here. 2022. Sustainable, that's the orange. $11.37 billion. You see, the total is 100 billion. See, 20.55 or 20.1 for the year. 11.3. Let me make that big. Y'all might can't see that. See, 11 point, see, 2022, 11.37 billion dollars for the Bahamas in 2022 issued already. That's the documents. It's the evidence. I'm going to even put this. I'm going to even put this this Excel spreadsheet, the link, in there for you. $11.33 billion. What they doing with our money? Some Bahamian, please explain to me what's going on here. Please. This is the crime of the century. And so the question now is not where the VAT money. That's a joke. The question is where this money. So, to recap, I can say this again. According to the Guardian article, and according to the document I just showed you from the relevant authorities, 11.37 is really 11.366, but $11.37 billion in blue bonds was issued to the Bahamas. The question is, where's the money? Now, I need someone to help me with that because we're in a serious situation. That's, I put that in the calculator just now. That is $75.8 thousand for every Bahamian. That was 2022. Now we believe that the Bahamas entered into more bonds in 2023, including the gender class of these bonds. Let me take you back because there's different types of bonds where you could just pull money out and they have money for their specific purposes. If you want money, do this right here. Give us a gender equality bill. Do a law for the sharks. Do this, do that. And you can pull money out of this. You're smart. Let me get some more information out there for you. The Bahamas is the 7th to issue the green bonds. See right here. And by 2022, 7 countries had followed. So in other words, Chile was first. By 2022, 7 countries had followed: Ecuador, Guatemala, Bahamas, Peru, Bahamas, and Uruguay in order of appearance by issuing green, or because in rocket, because blue is a type of green, bonds. Social bonds sustainability and sustainability-linked bonds in international markets. All right, and they have a table to break down the different types of ways you get this money. All right. So if you look here, they have the green bonds, sustainability bonds, social bonds, sustainability-linked bonds. So sustainability bonds right here on this side with social bonds. And the social bonds includes this gender equality stuff that they would, again, I had some more videos to show you at the time because they were talking about all these gender and social stuff at the meetings. They've come to. What I can do right now, I've been going so long, and if I understand something, I want them to have a chance to be able to call in and get their answers. And if you want, I could play those videos that show more of the stuff about gender and all that. But I've been going for an hour and 40 minutes, and I want you to get in on here. So some of your questions. All right. So the line is open, is 803-5995. 803-5995 is the number. 803-5995. Call in now. 803-5995. I think that's on silent. Yeah. All right. You can call now. 803-5995 is the number. Call in and I'll answer your questions. But the Bahamas government needs to answer where this money right here is. They need to answer to the Bahamian people what's going on. They have to qualify, meet all the qualifications, and I see them doing certain things. They're talking about doing the National Development Plan, and if I have to, I'll go back in the document and show you certain things with National Development Plan, economic equality, and that kind of stuff. Where he went into Lyford and talked about that stuff. All right. Someone says maybe you also use YouTube. Yes, actually, we are broadcasting. I don't just broadcast on Facebook, and most people are not watching on Facebook today. I actually broadcast on 3 YouTube channels: Coalition of Independence, Bahamian Evolution, and the Lincoln Main channel. 3 Facebook channels: Lincoln Main, Coalition of Independence, and Bahamian Evolution. Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram. All right, so I'm broadcasting from many different channels, and persons are on all of them right now. All right, so we got 1,518 people watching right now. All right, so on where you are, you might see 70 or 300 or 400 on where you are, but the total of everywhere we're broadcasting, there's a lot of people watching right now. All right, and so you might have problems on Facebook. You can shift over to YouTube. It's up to you. All right, so. All right. So call in. Talk to me. 803-5995 is the number. Anyone call in? Call me. What do you have to say? What do you think about this? Do you understand it? Do you want me to go into more depth? Of course, I had some more videos to play, but it would take more time. And these videos show that they're exactly, what's going on. You know what? I had a thing here with Brave. I think we should play that for y'all. Since y'all ain't calling, let me pray that. Oh, it's on silent. We play Brave while we wait.
Let's come to the point you were making about blue carbon, which is the carbon that is stored in mangroves and seaweed. Seagrass. The Bahamas wants to become the first country to sell blue carbon credits, and you've said something like $300 million worth could be sold as a way to finance the Bahama transition. You've also said that those will be generated from these sea grass and mangroves, but the offset market is going through a crisis of credibility. There are a lot of cheap offsets that don't work, that have got many people questioning whether to buy offsets as a way to solve the climate problem. Have you found willing buyers for your blue carbon credits?
Well, let me start by saying and illicit offers of that amount for identifying the extent of our asset. That is worth much more than that. We think it's sustainable. And yes, we do. There are a number of willing buyers. I understand the offset market, the issue that's happening in the offsetting. And we also have to be concerned about the offset because we don't want that to be used as an excuse for companies, for example. I'm saying, well, I'm going to emit 10 tons and I'm going to buy 20 tons, and therefore and so embed kind of arrangement. That's all easy. They embed an initiative that places on the purchaser that does not excuse them from their commitment to reduce carbon footprint. But we do have a number of inquiries as we speak.
There's already some precedent to this before.
In the green.
Yes, in green spaces. So in Brazil, there was the Amazon Fund that was funded today, and Germany was to. Would it be possible that you may explore options which are not tied to offsetting, but just try to protect it?
Well, under Article 6, they speak about additionality, which is to protection, preservation. I have another innovative thought in respect to that. We have a number of companies who believe that, oil companies that believe that in our waters, we have oil deposits in our waters, and they want to drill. What we could consider, for example, having it verified that we do in fact have oil reserves, and then we could cap it, and then say, well, look, we will not produce if you pay us for it to remain in the ground. So that is not off the table for us when we think about it. But I have not moved to engaging any of these companies yet, but that's a thought we could look at.
Now, the last climate commitment that Bahamas made to the United Nations, the NDC, was in 2015. As a party to the Paris Agreement, all parties, including Bahamas, is required to update its ambition on climate. Bahamas contributes a very small amount, but everybody has to do its part. When will Bahamas update its NDC?
We've just updated it, and we'll be presenting it this week.
Wonderful. That's great news.
Yeah.
To understand what the Bahamas' new climate commitments mean,
So that was Brave freely talking about, talking with Bloomberg. They were being interviewed. He was being interviewed by Bloomberg. He would freely talk to the international media, but wouldn't talk to us. Wouldn't talk to the Bahamian people. I'm going to show you in a second interview what he said to this person. Basically, he gave up on this thing. He gave up on this. This was in 2022 now, mind you. And then, he said he basically gave up. Then by December, they were giving away our carbon credits like candy. And our carbon blue bonds, I should say, like candy. I'm going to let you hear his voice. But at the end of that, he basically threw his hand up in the air and said, man, I given up hope on this thing. But then he came back to make it seem like, our whole meeting was a success, and this money was money well spent, and this and that. But I'm going to let you hear him tell them the opposite of what he told us when he came back. But let me go to the phone line first. Good afternoon, you're live.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm good.
Awesome.
Mr. Bean, I've been listening to the show from you got started. And before I go back to the bonds thing, we were talking about the crime issue in the Bahamas.
Yes.
And what's happening. And, my thing is right now, Mr. Monroe needs to be fired. Fernandez needs to be fired. The gentleman from the who in charge of the borders. These people need to be fired because why are we paying these folks and they're not doing their jobs? Every time you hear from the skippings and them, it's this thing and the next thing, and they can't come up with no solution at all.
Yeah.
I mean, Nassau is only one island in the Bahamas. Nassau ain't halfway as big as we are here in Grand Bahama. And they can't control 17 miles.
Wow.
The whole country's like going to hell in a handbasket every time you go on the international market and people researching whether they should be coming to the Bahamas. I mean, it's just crime is out of control. Friends have asked me, Mavis, what is going on in Nassau? People used to come to the Bahamas and feel safe to come, be it a woman with her daughters or even without their husbands, they used to come because they were safe in our country. Now, we as Bahamians, we're not safe. Our tourists won't come because they're not feeling safe here. Mr. Fernandez said, you sitting in your house.
It's ridiculous.
There's a double murder. This is just out of control. And to hear Mr. Davis speak about anything in reference to cabin credit, blue market, this man has no knowledge. He don't even know what he is talking about.
No.
And by the time we, the Bahamian, understand what he has been talking about, the whole country would have been given away and will be so late for so many of us.
Yeah.
We need to do something. We're in trouble.
Yeah.
And Bahamians need to understand that we are in trouble. Drop the color. Bahamian, he can talk, but you don't need to come with the Freedom of Information Act. No, they don't want to do it because they're stealing.
Yeah.
And if the people really understand what the government is doing, they'll be out in no time, and that's what they're afraid of.
That's it. But thank you. All right. Good afternoon, you're live. Good afternoon, you're live. Good afternoon, you're live.
Hey, Mr. Ben, how you doing?
I'm awesome, man. How you doing?
Great. Happy New Year.
Same to you.
Everybody else listening.
All right.
First of all, I have to tell you, you have to start. I don't even know how to explain it, but this information that you're giving, you cannot ease up off of this. You have to really go into breaking it down a bit smaller, even though I see everybody's not tuning off, so I mean, it's a lot of people listening. And this has to be a fight because this information is so important. And a lot of Bahamian people might not understand certain wordings and how they're bringing it, but it is clear and the evidence is there. You understand? When I say like, I don't know what you have to do, but you have to keep fighting for us because we need it. We can clearly see that we are being thrown in the garbage. All right. So I really want to talk about the crime too. Okay, it's sometimes you look at these things on Facebook and you be like, well, no, my son will come in. If he coming home, you'd be like, you're watching all these people, RIP, and then come to find out the same woman who was saying condolence and this and that. Now she's screaming out her child is dead and different things like that. And the fact that our prime ministers are coming on and saying, hey, we need to pray as a nation, or I need to fast as a prime minister for my country. There's no godly from all these murders that's happening. There's nothing godly about our prime minister saying, let us pray tonight. Let us come together. Not even a tear, not even the only time we see them on TV, smiles about money. Now, pertaining to that, we really need to do justice to our teachers, our policemen, and our doctors. Okay? This is a crying shame, the fact that they're not getting paid nearly close enough. And we making the government having all of this money. That should be the main thing because they're saying, how can we help with crime? Okay, y'all give the police points. If they can find the most cars and different things, they found the most guns. Apparently that means their pay needs to go up. Because these police have to do second jobs. A police shouldn't have to go looking out for second job and different things. His mind should be on protecting this country.
Yeah.
Not, whatever goes, and I got to go on my second job. That's why so many police, I at the Chinese working secondhand, $50 a day, and different things like that. That's despicable. You understand?
Yeah.
These teachers who go off to school, get all this degree, then he's making $17,000 a year. Come on, man, that's somebody I talk to. And that's despicable, man. You know,
all right, but I don't want to talk about all them other topics right now. I want to stay close to where we are.
Okay, but I feel like if we could change that, especially you as a government that comes in, I believe the crime will be better because we'll be able to.
It definitely will help, and that's something that we've been advocating and is in our plans.
All right, God bless and continue to fight for us.
Thank you, man.
We need that.
Oh, definitely we're gonna pay our teachers and police what they deserve. I see someone who's saying the line is saying busy. That's because we were on the line, so you can call now. The line is now open. All right. I want to play this video. I want you to hear this video. Excuse me. The reason I want you to hear this video is okay, I'll answer this first. I want you to hear them. I want you to hear the international community telling Brave how idiotic it sounds to be out there saying you fighting for carbon credits, but you're inviting more cruise ships in, and the cruise ships, one of the biggest contributors to you out here talking about you're fighting for this. Maybe that's why one is taking you serious. All right, what are you gonna do to stop that? And he told them, well, the ships are now going to be using LNG. He said, but are you insisting that? And he said, no, America. I think America is going to insist that they switch all the ships to LNG instead. You got to have this conversation. So you heard him fumbling in that first one. I didn't make fun of him. He was fumbling along in that. And by the way, that's already in my channel, the video I'm going to play for you. And so we're going to keep posting these up. I got a call, and then I'm going to play the video. Good evening, you're live.
Hey, good evening, Mr. President.
How you doing?
Oh, I'm good. I am good. I'm just so glad to make it through the end of this new year. You know, I mean, God is good, and thank you for still standing with the Raven people. You know, I am absolutely grateful that the fight is still on, and that people are waking up, and the movement is growing bigger and bigger. Someone have made a recommendation that give a t-shirt and cap like that to come an end. The person suggests that if people love the COI so much and want change, people should be paying for shirts and caps as a contribution to the movement. So that's my encouragement. That's my word for the night. You're doing an excellent job, and we are all paying attention.
Thank you, man.
Fight, fight, fight.
Thank you. The fight is just beginning. The fight is just beginning. All right. So yeah, we do sell the t-shirts, and people do buy the t-shirts. When an election starts, we give away the t-shirts. We don't sell them during election, but outside of that, as a form of fundraising and showing your support, we do sell the t-shirts. But you can also lend a hand and assist by going to our pages. To give. You can go here, or you can go just our website right on the front page, and you can find ways to donate. And so that's one link that you can use, and that's another one that you can use. And no one clicked on it today yet, but we're looking forward to seeing all of you who are on here saying you love the movement. Make sure you go there and help us do what we have to do. Now, I want you to hear this, because we can see the idiocy in Brave Davis being out there talking about climate change when BEC is using mostly all basically fossil fuels, and when the cruise ship industry is our number one industry, and it's ridiculous, so, and then the police bought 100 trucks to do regular patrols in trucks that use more fuel. I see someone scanning the QR code. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Listen to what they said. Of course, they were being polite, but you can tell what they were getting at. And at the end of it, Brave Davis say, as it relates to COP27, this isn't the last one. The last one was COP28. That's the one he went to before that when they interviewed him. And he said he ain't give up. He could leave his people there to negotiate. But he basically is saying he kind of giving up hope based on what he hearing. But then he came to the Bahamas and made it seem like, oh, this was such a good success. And they was like, Clint Watson was like, oh, our prime minister did such a good job negotiating, and all these people are interested in this and that. Listen.
The Bahamas is a well-known tourist destination. The country is currently building a new port that will cost $250 million, and it's designed for cruise ships and yachts to come through.
Cruise ships particularly.
Cruise ships particularly. And cruise ships have 3 times the carbon impact of flights. They're also air pollution. Bahamas has the cleanest air in the world, but cruises cause a lot of air pollution. Bahamas also has a plan right now, as of the previous NDC, to reduce its emissions by 30% by 2030.
Yes.
You're updating that, so that ambition is becoming what now?
It remains at that. That's the ambition, but we're thinking we should be able to surpass that, but we're staying with the 30%.
Okay. So if that's the case, how are you going to stop the emissions from increasing as these
because it's cruise ships? Well, first of all, there is a plan afoot between in industry. You note that they'll be converting to a cleaner energy. They're going to LNG, which is cleaner than the fossil fuel they're using, what they're using now. So most cruise ships are going to be required.
Still has carbon emissions, though.
But it's lesser than what they're using now. And
is that a condition on the port, though? Or are you expecting the industry to just do it on its own?
Well, I think the U.S. government is requiring the cruise ships that come to the airport, and all comes through the United States, to be basically to move to LNG. And we benefit through that. And this is where that offset issue arises with me, because they'd want us to buy credits and forget that they're still polluting. But if they buy my credits, it still lower their pollutions.
Be your expectations coming out of COP27?
I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to give up. I'm an optimist, but the conversations that we've been hearing leaves me less hopeful that the outcomes will be what I would like to see. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to give up. We're going to hope that when I leave, we're going to leave our team behind to continue the negotiations, and that something will come out of this that will move the needle.
What would be your best case outcome?
The best outcome for me is that countries live up to their commitments and promises. I'm pledge fatigue. I'm commitment fatigue. Time has come for action. If they write the check before they leave, that will be a great outcome for me.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Good evening, you're live.
How you doing, sir?
I am awesome.
Beautiful, Mr. Bean. I was supposed to contact you back. I am sorry. I hope I didn't call at the wrong time. It sounds like I called live on the show.
Yeah, man, I live on the show.
I apologize, sir. I was supposed to be calling you in private. You know who this is, right?
I have no idea, but we'll talk later since you want to talk in private. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you heard the Prime Minister saying basically, he threw his hands in the air. Which he ain't quit. He can leave his fellas there and negotiate, but he losing hope, and this whole thing. But when he came back, man, they had this, return that, he's spending the money so well, and and he's doing such a good job. And remember Clint Watson talking about the good job they did at COP27, and they can't wait to go back because so much people are interested in this and that. But Brave is there begging, man, I feel bad. Y'all just give me the money, man. Y'all help. Give me the money. For the Brave Devils, please stop begging. Please stop begging. We have natural resources worth trillions of dollars. Let us utilize our natural resources so that we are the ones who are the lenders. Let's change the game. It's time to stop begging. We don't have the bag. I don't know what to say. I don't know. Let me show you how they were mixing the blue bonds with the gender stuff, because you notice certain things came back up, and when you see the document, so my page is already live. Not page. This is a channel, and so some of the things I'm already putting in there, and so those two interviews with Brave Davis that you've never heard, they're right there. And so a lot of this information and other information we're going to start plugging in there periodically, so you can just go there and always get it. All right. So what you're about to see is again, this was the same meeting with this where the document came from, where the Bahamas got all this money, and they were talking about what Chile did and how they mixed the gender stuff with it.
Only 2 days ago, the Advanced European Union Chile Advanced Framework Agreement was signed, turning Chile the first country to sign a new generation framework with this historical agreement. The European Union and Chile take their partnership to the next level to reinforce their political dialogue, to strengthen cooperation, to foster a commercial and investment opportunity based on shared values that are key, including important commitments and specific provisions regarding human rights, sustainable trade, and gender equality. Also, Chile has several priority projects in Global Gateway that I believe are a good illustration of how we can create investment on sustainability. The first example is that in July, we signed an MOU with Chile for value chains in terms of critical raw materials. And now, one example in terms of what we're going to do to support Chile in its national lithium strategy is that we are going to okay. What we're going to do is to use European technology that is connected to another priority project of Copernicus in Global Gateway for Earth observation. Next March, we launched the Regional Center for Earth Observation.
It actually sounded like someone told him to hush just now on something that he was talking about. So I don't know why he stopped, and it's like someone hushed him. All right. So and so there's more I wanted to do there. I had a couple more videos from this actual meeting where they discussed the Bahamas and they discussed the bonds, etc., and what's going on. I'm going to send some links in my channel. So the channel is already up, so you can go and subscribe to that WhatsApp channel. So yeah, WhatsApp got channels now. WhatsApp has channels. So someone sent me a video.
To really have those discussions, to have understanding as to how another person is thinking or is feeling. I think that once we're able to establish healthy communication and teach our people.
I see someone sent me a link to me, something with me. I think doing an interview. It says Bain police needs to re-strategize to get a grip of crime. So I guess they're going to talk about some of the strategies I gave, because I spoke to them for about 20 minutes and they only showed about a couple minutes. Yeah, so let me see if I can show that to y'all. Let me see if I can play this for y'all. Yeah, I see it. Okay.
However, he returns to court on April 18th.
Let's watch this together.
The presentation of a voluntary bill of indictment. Leader of the Coalition of Independents, Lincoln Bain, arguing tonight that murders are not down despite Police Commissioner Clayton Fernander asserting so back in November of 2023. Authorities recorded 110 murders in 2023 compared to 128 in 2022. While the murder count for 2023 decreased compared to the previous year, Bain says serious crimes continue to be a vexing issue for authorities, as it seems to have spilled over into 2024.
Murders are not down specifically. Technically, they are. But the problem is there are a lot of people who survived last year in terms of being shot or stabbed. And so the murder numbers would have been higher if many of these people didn't survive. Look how many triple shootings we had, where it was a triple shooting and one person survived. So one person died. There was a double shooting, one person died, or a single shooting and that person survived. If those numbers were counted, we would be, I guess, into the 200s, maybe the 300s, who knows? But murder is not down. No one is feeling safe on these streets today. You can go and park on the beach and get your car taken from you, get robbed, get shot if you resist. No one is feeling safe right now. And so they need to do something.
And although he's not serving in the Royal Bahamas Police Force anymore, Bain has a few recommendations to authorities, which he asserts will give police the upper hand in the fight against crime.
When you go to the United States, you'll notice that they'll have one police officer per car. Here, you'll have two, sometimes more, in one car. If you have one officer in the car, you can now spread out your coverage. You have double for the Echo Patrol mobile units. And if you notice, every single planned community in this country, in Nassau particularly, has one way in and one way out. Well, not one way, but just a front or a back. So, for example, Elizabeth Estate, you go out the front or you go out the back. South Beach, there's just a few ways in and out. The police can be parked in those areas. Now you have two cars, one in the front, one in the back. If something happens in that area, that criminal can't get away. And so another is patrolling in that area. Now you can spread out your patrols. And sometimes you go to the U.S., you will see police cars parked in certain areas. Even the airport, they'll have empty cars parked there just for to intimidate people. But we can change this and change the way we patrol. And I'm saying this from my experience as a police officer. Having police on roundabouts giving people tickets does not help with crime, because the criminal can see you a mile away and they're going to go the other way.
On the mental health front, psychologist Dr. Delano Rose speaks on what he believes.
I actually gave them about 5 or 6 suggestions, so I think they played one just now. But it's good they actually put us on the news. All right. Now, we just simply need some serious change in our government. I want to thank all of you for tuning in and for being with us tonight. We need to spread this message, spread this live, take clips out, the parts that you want, screenshot the parts that you want to send out there to your family and friends. I'm going to try to do a shorter video showing that this $11.37 billion has been issued. Now, I believe that there are some criteria that they have to do to finalize this stuff. The gender equality bill was one of them. They've already, they already pushed that through. And I don't want you to confuse gender equality with sex equality. Gender is not male and female. Gender is how persons identify themselves. So that's a man saying, I am a woman, or a woman saying, I feel like I'm a man. It isn't sex necessarily. As a man saying, I identify as a female cat. All right. This is now considered the norm for some people. I don't know why, but there's something they're trying to push. And they're attaching us getting financing to these kinds of things. Gender equality, National Development Plan, you're going to see them pushing and making it seem like, oh, this is a great idea, the PLP, this and that. Electricity, you see them remove Colby Davis, and put her now to deal with electricity specifically. That's a part of this document that you're seeing. And there's quite a few other things. His speech in Lyford was also part of what they're supposed to do. And so there's a lot of things that they had to do, and I believe that they're trying to qualify. So the media needs to find out where this money is. All right. Brave Davis didn't tell us anything. They put laws in place that you go to jail if you speak to these things. So maybe I'll get locked up. So we'll see what happens. All right. But if I got to get locked up for our $11 billion, I'm going to do that. That's $75,000 for every Bahamian 21 and over. All right. So give us our things. All right. So if you calculate everyone 18 and over, that's still a lot of money. All right. Give us what belongs to us. So remember to talk to your family and friends in Abaco. We are going to Abaco on Thursday and Friday. If you're in Abaco, come and see us. So we're going to be in Thursday and Friday. If you missed it, look at the beginning of this show to see the details. In fact, let me pull it up for you. Pull it up for you. Give me one sec. We're going to Abaco, and on the 11th, we're going to be in South Abaco, and on the 12th, we're going to be in North Abaco. So on the 11th, we're going to be at 6 p.m. We're going to be at the Patrick J. Bethel High School, and on the 12th, we're going to be at the North Abaco Foxtown Primary School. All right. So make sure you're there to come and meet us, come support us. Myself, Maria, Charlotte, Green, the team. We're going to be down there. Come and hear what we have to say, and I have some more to say. Come let us know what's going on in Abaco, and so we can stand up and fight for you. And Abaco Thursday and Friday. If you want to help, support us, assist us in these endeavors, again, that's one link that you can click on, and that's the next link you can click on. I love you. We do this because we love you. I won't be live on Tuesday. And again, and Abaco, we won't show your faces in the crowd, etc., just in case you're intimidated or afraid or whatever. But the main public will see us again on Thursday and on Friday. And we have a lot more to say about our $11 billion. They have to find our money. All right? Simple as that. God bless you. The fight has just begun. We are not standing down. We're not giving up. The fight has just begun. Stand with me as I fight for what is ours. It's a new generation, and we come in for our things. We come in for what belongs to us. We tired begging. We don't want to be like Brave going around the world begging, looking like a beggar. Did you hear his words? Join my WhatsApp channel and go listen to that again. We can put some more stuff on there. Join my WhatsApp channel. Just go in the status button and then click on channels and then search for Lincoln Bean. All right. This is ridiculous. $11.37 billion. That's 2022. We don't know how much was for 2023 yet. It could be double that. Obviously, they went for the gender thing, because in one of the videos they talk about how passing laws get you certain things. I wish I could play all of them, and I guess when I go live again, we could do that. God bless you. I love you. We'll continue to fight for you. And see you soon. Thursday in Abaco. See you next time. Hold on. Phone ring just as I go in the hang up. Hold on. Good afternoon, you're live.
Hey.
You ring just when I was going to hang up. I'm sorry, end the live. Hey. How you doing? You're live.
Good night, Lincoln. How you doing?
Awesome.
Question for you.
Mm-hmm.
That's $11.37 billion. How do we find out who actually received that money in the Bahamas? Because that's the first we heard about that. You said it's from 2022?
Yes, from 2022.
So they're about to receive more money then.
They would have received money again in 2023.
So,
and from that same Bloomberg interview that Brave Davis did, I have another lady who was with him saying that they got some monies. And they hoping to pay it back. They hoping to pay it back when we consuming less carbon or whatever. So it's a strange way she explained it, but I couldn't do all this in 2 hours.
Okay, So the government could possibly be sitting on over $22 billion, and they keep on going up on taxes?
Yes. Now, I think there's some, now she said in the interview that there's a lot of like stipulations, and I think they wasn't getting straight with all these stipulations, and that's why you see them now talking about this national development plan, and you hear them saying, you heard them saying that they could bring this national development plan this year. That's in the document. You heard them that this gender equality stuff, that's in the document. All right. And so the electricity and some other stuff, there's quite a bit of stuff. Even the stuff he said at the Lyford meeting, I didn't have a chance to go through it. 2 hours goes so quick. But all of this stuff is right there.
Okay.
They are robbing us.
But I mean, if you make this great deal, then use the government. Why would you just come up and say, "Oh, we make this great deal. We got this money. We you know."
They don't want the Bahamian people to get that money. They want it. That's why they took the Sovereign Wealth Fund, because legally that was supposed to go to the Sovereign Wealth Fund because of what kind of bond it is. But they're going to take that money and they're going to use public-private partnerships like the one they just did with the Numbers Men for the airport, so that all of our air shipments pay some money to the Numbers Men. They're going to use public-private partnership to be able to take this money and put it in private companies that their people own, and they're going to rate that. So by the time this election comes, that money gone.
No, but I mean, I know Brave. I mean that they know that the people ain't happy with them right now with all these taxes. Why wouldn't you just go there and say, okay, we got this money, we're gonna cut your taxes in half and make the Bahamians happy? They can stay in government forever. If they did that, that would be the smart thing to do.
They want to keep you suffering because they believe people who suffering can be bought out easier. They don't want to help you.
Wow.
Either you go vote for them or you go vote for their partners in crime there for them. That's how they feel. Either way, all of them have already made a grievance, and this stuff that I'm researching on about how this money is going to be shared. All right, and I'm investigating.
Okay, but can't we, as the Bahamian people, go to the international community and force the government to do the right thing? Isn't there something that we could do?
No one can force a sovereign government and tell them what to do, because they're going to say that, oh, we told them we did certain things. We told them we took the Sovereign Wealth Fund. We did that in the House of Assembly. That was public. They can say, see, this was in the papers when it showed them about the blue carbon, the 2 blue carbon bonds in 2022. They can say, see it right there in the papers.
In the papers 2 days ago. That was from 2022.
Yep. But that's what they're going to use. You see, this is the strategy that Brave Davis and them is doing. We got to stand up as a people, and we got to fight.
We need some help. We need some international help, because it seems like the only people that the government has listened to is when somebody from the outside come in and say, you all need to do this.
Well, they got plenty of stress coming from the international community. Now, I ain't going to talk it on here, but we in conversations right now.
Okay, like it, man.
All right, my brother.
As always, thanks, man, for the information, and good job.
All right, thank you, man. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is it. I saw more calls coming in while I was doing that, but I got to wrap up now. I've done almost 2.5 hours. God bless you. Keep up with, go. I think none of y'all go on y'all know how to do this, the status. What you call it? Let me see if any of y'all join yet. Yeah, my channel, it's on WhatsApp. Just go in there and you're going to start seeing information in there. And so that'll keep it clean. And all right, so go in there and follow me. Just follow me, all right? So just go on my WhatsApp channel and follow me there. God bless you. Someone says not coming up. Yeah, just do a quick search for Lincoln Bain. Invite persons. Invite admins. Okay, me. It's not coming up. Send link. Okay, I'm going to share this link in my blast and in our WhatsApp group, and then y'all could share it to other people so everybody could get in. All right. So I'm going to share this on my blast, all of my people, and and then I'm going to share it in all of these groups. And then as the days go by, we'll start putting information in there. All right. I'll see if I can share it on Facebook too. All right. I don't know why it's not getting you in now, but stay tuned. It's a YouTube channel or WhatsApp channel. No, WhatsApp now has channels. So it's a WhatsApp channel. So just go in WhatsApp, click on status, go in WhatsApp, click on status, and then you can look for channels, and then you can look for me. All right. Someone said I don't see it either. I'll send out the link to all of our WhatsApp as soon as this live ends, and then you can all get in there. So those 2 videos from Brave Davis, those ridiculous videos, are in there now. All right. And so some other things I'm going to be adding in there as we go. All right. But God bless you. We love you. Abaco. Call all your friends and family in Abaco. All right. And make sure that they're out on Thursday. See you next time. God bless you. We love you. And we got to save this.